Over the years, Assassin's Creed has taken us not only to different cities, but also to different eras. From the Crusades to Renaissance Italy, from the Caribbean to ancient Egypt and Greece, this series has gained a different identity with each game. Some games stayed in players' minds because of their story, some because of their open world, and some because of their characters and atmosphere. So in this video, we're bringing together the strongest and most unforgettable games in the Assassin's Creed series. Without wasting any more time, let's get started. Assassin's Creed 2 truly established the identity of the series. It took the ideas of the first game and pushed them forward with a stronger story, livelier cities, and much smoother gameplay. As Ezio Auditore da Firenze, you begin a journey of revenge after the betrayal against your family, and over time, you become much more than just an angry young man. Renaissance Italy still gives the game a very strong personality, with an atmosphere stretching from Florence to Venice. The tools used with the help of Leonardo da Vinci, more varied missions, improved parkour, stealth, and assassination systems all turn Assassin's Creed 2 into a foundation stone of the series. Thanks to Ezio's rise, its music, its cities, and the flow of its story, Assassin's Creed 2 stands as one of the strongest games on this list. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is one of the games where Ezio Auditore becomes not only a master assassin, but also a true leader. This time, the story takes us to Rome. In a city that has become a center of power, greed, and corruption, Ezio turns his fight against the Templar Order into a much larger struggle. Brotherhood takes the foundation of Assassin's Creed 2 and carries it into a more mature and expanded structure. You liberate Rome from Templar influence step by step, rebuild districts, train new assassins, and call them into action when needed. When parkour, stealth, open-world progression, and the Brotherhood system come together, the game becomes one of the most unforgettable chapters of Ezio's era. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag still manages to remain one of the most beloved games in the series. This time, the story takes us to the Caribbean during the golden age of piracy. As Edward Kenway, you are not just stepping into an assassin story, you are also experiencing the journey of an ambitious pirate trying to build his own legend across the seas. The game gives the series a completely different flavor by combining the classic Assassin's Creed structure with the freedom of the open sea. Naval battles, island exploration, treasure hunts, and the feeling of upgrading the Jackdaw make Black Flag feel very different from a classic assassination game set only in cities. Stealth, assassinations, and the Templar threat are still at the center, but what truly stays in your mind here is the feeling of being inside a real pirate adventure. That is why, when people talk about the best Assassin's Creed games, Black Flag is always one of the strongest candidates on the list. Assassin's Creed Revelations is one of the most emotional games that brings the Ezio trilogy to a close. This time, Ezio follows the traces left behind by Altair and arrives in Constantinople, where he faces a new Templar threat in the heart of the Ottoman Empire. The game does more than just offer a new city. It also strongly shows an older, wiser Ezio who is confronting his past. One of the most memorable parts of Revelations is the way it connects the stories of Ezio and Altair. The markets, streets, towers, and historical atmosphere of Constantinople carry the classic Assassin's Creed feeling, while additions like the hook blade make parkour feel faster. Even if it does not bring the same level of innovation as Brotherhood, Revelations still holds a special place as one of the most beloved games in the series because it gives Ezio's era a strong and meaningful finale.
Tamam.
Assassin's Creed Origins is one of the most important turning points in the series. With this game, Assassin's Creed moved away from its classic city-focused structure and shifted toward a much larger open-world design built around exploration and RPG elements. The ancient Egypt atmosphere, with its deserts, temples, oases, and regions stretching along the Nile, gives the game a strong sense of history. Bayek's story is also one of the most memorable parts of Origins. This game does not only start a new era for the series, it also focuses on the origins of the Assassin's Brotherhood. With a heavier combat system, different weapons, level progression, side quests, and a strong sense of exploration, Origins feels like the gateway to the modern era of the series. That is why, when people talk about the best Assassin's Creed games, Origins definitely deserves to be on the list. Assassin's Creed laid the entire foundation for the series. The story takes us to the year 1191, during the Third Crusade, in the war-torn Holy Land. As Altair, you become a member of the Assassin Brotherhood and try to eliminate your targets one by one against the Templar threat. Looking at it today, the mission structure may feel repetitive, but the identity of the series first takes shape here. Stealth, parkour, climbing high viewpoints, blending into crowds, tracking targets, and the assassination structure form the core DNA of Assassin's Creed. Cities and locations like Jerusalem, Damascus, Acre, and Masyaf give the game a strong historical atmosphere, while Altair, learning from his mistakes and rising again, adds a more serious tone to the story. The first Assassin's Creed is not flawless, but it still remains an important starting point for understanding why the series became so big. Assassin's Creed 3 took the series into a completely different historical atmosphere after the Ezio era. This time, the story moves to the American Revolution. As Connor, you try to find your own path through the American colonies, Templar influence, cities overshadowed by war, and the chaos of the Revolution. Alongside Boston and New York, the frontier gives the game a wilder, more natural, and very different open-world feeling. Assassin's Creed 3 holds an important place in the series because it introduced more than just a new main character. The heavier combat, hunting, large natural areas, and early naval missions gave Assassin's Creed a different kind of scale. Connor may not be as charismatic as Ezio for some players, but his story feels harsher, more serious, and more tragic. Even if Assassin's Creed 3 is not the most flawless game in the series, it still deserves a place on an all-time list. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is one of the biggest and largest games in the series. This time, the story takes us into the middle of the Viking Age. As Eivor, you leave the Scandinavian lands and try to build a new home in 9th century England. Because of that, Valhalla is not only built around assassination and stealth, but also around exploration, war, raids, alliances, and the idea of growing your own settlement. The most noticeable part of the game is how it combines the Viking atmosphere with the Assassin's Creed formula. You explore different regions of England, attack enemy camps, siege fortresses, get involved in political decisions, and gradually increase Eivor's power. Valhalla may not be the most traditional Assassin's Creed game for everyone, but thanks to its scale, atmosphere, and strong Viking fantasy, it manages to become one of the most talked about games in the series. Assassin's Creed Odyssey pushed the RPG side of the series further than ever. The story takes us to ancient Greece and gives players the chance to shape their own journey as either Alexios or Cassandra. Starting as a mercenary with Spartan roots, this adventure moves through family secrets, wars, choices, and the major powers of the Greek world. Odyssey expands the new structure that Origins started with even more role-playing options. Dialogue choices, different quest outcomes, the ability system, land and naval battles, a massive map, and exploration across the Aegean give the game a much greater sense of freedom. Even though some players feel it moved away from the Assassin's Creed identity, Odyssey became one of the strongest representatives of the series' RPG era, thanks to its ancient Greece atmosphere and the freedom it gives the player.
He does not look happy. Let's see if I can cheer him up.
Assassin's Creed Unity had one of the most controversial launches in the series, but today it is still remembered for having one of the best city atmospheres in Assassin's Creed. Paris during the French Revolution, with its crowded streets, massive buildings, rooftop parkour, and historical chaos, is one of the strongest parts of the game. Arnaud Dorian's story is also set in the middle of this revolution, built around revenge, love, assassins, and the conflict against the Templars. The biggest reason Unity is still talked about today is how strongly it delivers the classic Assassin's Creed feeling inside a city. The parkour system feels more fluid and stylish, stealth plays a bigger role, and assassination missions give the player different ways to approach the target. Also, thanks to special co-op missions, it is possible to carry out operations in Paris together with friends. Despite its troubled launch, Unity became one of those Assassin's Creed games whose value was understood better years later.
You will suffer.